So, hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spin Rack. We also have,
Calvin Ellis, ready to rock.
so we're back. Sony has got another Spider-Man property without Spider-Man, Kraven the Hunter. Any thoughts on this before we start to let it go?
Not yet.
All right, ready, set, and
My son, we are hunters, the greatest the world has ever known.
Охотник до сказки.
Каждый сказки есть правда.
Who's next?
I heard the noise of thunder.
Are you like your father? A gangster? A killer?
And I heard a voice. And behold, hell followed with him. There's a man going round taking names.
My son,
And he decides who to free and who to blame.
yes, an animal stronger than you can imagine.
The hairs on your arm will stand up.
Tell me about this hunter.
Some are born and some are died.
Once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
When the man comes around. When the man comes around. Whoever is unjust
You think you're some kind of honor, some kind of code.
will be unjust.
You're just another man
Whoever is righteous
hunting for a trophy.
let him be righteous too.
Just like our father.
When the man comes around. When the man comes around.
Embrace who you really are, son. And you will become the legend.
When the man comes around. When the man comes around.
there we go. What are your thoughts?
Ah, it's Sony. It's not Kraven from the comic. I don't know. I don't know. Usually, one of the first signs that they think something is wrong with the character is when they change the character for the films in a distinct way, like giving him, I don't know, superpowers that he doesn't really have. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. Sony has not shown me that they can do a good film.
Not at all. Not Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm. Oh, you mean what with the
Garfield. That's
with Garfield?
that's a cheat. I know what you mean. I just want to throw that out there. I know what you mean. There's a cheat
The
to
Spider-Man,
it.
because like the Spider-Man stuff, the Spider-Man stuff, Spider-Man is such a great character with such a rich history. You would have to work really hard to do a bad Spider-Man story, and it's not. And what is it? They definitely tried because instead of giving us a full Spider-Man story, they wanted to set up this Sinister Six thing. But
Yeah.
Venom has been okay.
Mhm.
That's been my take. That's been my take on Venom. So I just don't know. I really don't. These guys don't have a good track record outside of the stuff that they do with Marvel.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think a lot of things have been kind of going towards the sequel, whereas even you didn't mention it, but I know you meant it. Madam Web is more setup than story for the next thing, and
How how did that movie not make money? You had what, four hot chicks, five hot chicks, and guys
they,
still didn't come out to see that movie.
they don't get into the outfits only in like future future.
Oh, that's how you. Okay, so you just messed up. That's how you did it. That's how you did. So you actually have a movie with superheroes and they're not getting into the suits. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
they have like a future Flash, and at the same time, to give you, there's a part in the story where the girls run into these guys, and totally for the period, I don't know how it happened. The girls decided to start dancing on the table, so I was just like, do we know what time we're in this stage where girls just meet strange guys at a diner and get on, start dancing on the table? I guess this is what we're doing here. I guess this is what's happening. But going to this, Kraven is a character that I liked a lot when I first met him in Spider-Man. I mean, he did have a slightly augmented strength. We didn't know how he was able to toss around a gorilla, but he wasn't as strong as Spider-Man. But he was the original character that cheated, and he had all these things to mess with Spider-Man, which made him, great name and a great villain that would kind of play to that sort of thing. A poisoning Spider-Man, tying his hand to his leg, his magnetic device and whatnot. And we've seen, I think, who was it? I think Steve Ditko, he ran out of steam on Kraven, and then when Steve Ditko was gone, Stan and John Romita, they ran out of steam on him. He gets punched again, and like the hunt in both the last story that Ditko did, the hunt is over, and then when not the last, but one of the stories that Stan and John Romita did was him punching with one punch. No, actually, he was saying he was using the punch a portion of the power that used to stagger the Hulk. And he said that woof is the same woof. And I was just like, oh God. And then he's like, and then he tells him the hunt is over. And he went from being one of Spider-Man's lesser villains. That's how he got to be used in the Marvel team up, because they wouldn't let Byrne and Claremont, the famous Byrne and Claremont, use any of the real villains of Spider-Man team up, but they let him use Kraven. And the story did with Kraven was such a knock out of the park. Kraven capturing Tigra, capturing Spider-Man, got Spider-Man in chains. He got Tigra by the arm, just standing with as ruling over things. One of my favorite stories, and then of course we have the Kraven's Last Hunt, where nobody likes the guy, let's kill him. And it was around the time of the Dark Knight, so we got this Kraven that somehow he captures Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man, Spider-Sense usually is able to cure everything, but he captures Spider-Man and seemingly kills him, and he becomes a spider. It's a very a mystical type storyline, and I think everyone is a big fan of it. I bought it at a comic book store. The comic, I was iffy on it, and the comic guy in the Avenue H said, wait, you hesitate, you lose. So I bought it, and I bought the whole arc at that period. And sales had went up initially for that. I don't think there's sales for that as anything right now, but at the time it went up for a little while. So ultimately, those are the stories that we have for this. So as Cal said, it isn't something that really bodes well for doing a solo character, but it doesn't seem like they're doing a character that cheats. He just as good as what he does, and he kills a lot. And it would be more fun if he was a character that was just like a SOB, setting up people. You think
You mean the character from the comic? Thank you.
Yes, I know that because they killed off Kraven, and then his son came along, and I think Calypso might be in this story too. But ultimately,
No, because now they're trying to do this whole. They want to do the stuff that they can't really do anymore. They want to do jungle, witch doctor, big game hunter type stuff, and they're like, okay, how do we navigate it? They also don't think that Kraven is, a big enough character on his own in order to carry this. So they're going to make tweaks in terms of his overall origins, what the character can do. You're going to give him superpowers, which for me is always a red flag sign, because you're showing that you think there's something fundamentally wrong with this character, or you think that this character is generic. which also leads me to believe you probably never read any of the stories. Or you didn't read Fearful Cemetery, which is the one you really need to read if you're going to do a Kraven story.
Mm.
You need to need his first 2 or 3 appearances. You need to read those, but then you also need to read Fearful Cemetery at the end of the day. Because if you just read the first 2 or 3, it's like Kraven. I mean, of course, because Kraven's the bad guy, so it's like Kraven does these intricate setups, almost like Fred on Scooby Doo with those Rube Goldberg traps. And people always get out of the trap, and then Kraven either escapes or he's going to get caught. But you have to read Fearful Cemetery to the point like, oh no, this guy, he's actually capable of doing this. He's actually capable of doing these particular things and go with the hunter aspect. But we got to give him superpowers and give him some mysticism because there's something other than that. It's going to be the same thing. We're back to the Jim Suter stuff.
Well, the other thing is that you could also have, well, no, they're doing the trilogy, so they're ending the Venom stuff. But I mean, if you want to have, he's a big game, and what would be bigger game than Venom? So, but they're trying to do their solo thing with these characters. So, and they're gonna be killing nobody. So that's the mistake of the Sony universe, is that you don't have your Spider-Man you're making your ton of money off of the MCU Spider-Man, but well, I mean, not initially, but because it's pretty much the same as Amazing, but after the second one, they got to their billion, and I'm pretty sure they did better on the last one, so you're making a ton of money. But the linchpin to some of these stories would be Spider-Man running into these characters and becoming a portion of it. And, but it would be a Spider-Man movie, not a Kraven movie. But put all this work into it and have fun. But, what can you do? They're doing Kraven in December, and at the same time, Marvel, MCU is pulling, or Disney is pulling back their workload. And I don't think we'll see anything from DC till next year. So we have a superhero. The superhero movies are slowing down again. So
Good, because they're bad. They
but
need to slow down.
No, the problem is that there's not people looking at these people doing bad stories. They think the wave of superheroes are going. Because the audience, like, no, if you give us good Star Wars and you give us good superhero movies, they'll keep coming to see them. But we keep getting
Well,
half
they're
gap.
telling us something. We're not going to get it. That's what they're telling us. You're not getting it. We're going to get this right over here. You're going to get this. You're going to get the bad stuff. All right, you're going to get that. Don't like it? Don't come out. Superhero fatigue. Wonder how that happened.
Yeah, that's the horror of it, where you have a ton of bad movies where they basically
Somebody
come
told them
back
that in order for us, I don't know who whispered in their ear that they need to make these particular changes, and the changes aren't any good. We need to make these changes for an audience that doesn't exist, that's not coming to watch these shows. That was Madam Web. That was a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, Craven, I can only imagine what they're going to do here. I mean, it's for me, this is a very nebulous time, because some of the things that I used to be able to ascertain whether or not a film looked like it could be okay or looked like it was going to be a hit, that's all out the window, because so much of this stuff, okay, the trailer looked fine, and then I saw the film, I was like, this is just totally left. Or I saw the film and the audience didn't turn out for it, and I was like, what was wrong with this? This is pretty much what an audience should want. Or they do exactly what they say they're going to do for this audience that's supposed to, be out there. The audience doesn't exist. So once they decide that they've lost enough money and they want to get back to some fundamentals, I think I'll have a better feeling about watching and making some sort of prognostication based on a trailer. But right now it's too out there. It's all over the place in terms of what the product could or could not be based on what they're doing. I just don't have the trust in anything that they're doing at all.
Well, that's definitely true. The hard part of the superhero movie is that you know, the main reason why a lot of them worked is that they had someone to shepherd them in, to kind of bring these stories into the fold. Marvel did find a way to say, hey, let's do what we've always done, what people always do, just take as many stories as you can and put it in one thing, and that kind of worked for a time. But then at the same time, when you look at the Marvel, you go look at this and be like, look, Sony doesn't know what they're doing. But at the same time, we have the Marvels, um, the MCU TV shows, and I don't know what else we got. What other movies they had that they've done. But it's like you have these things that missing the mark, and you're looking and saying, with your Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel, we're supposed to get the Kree Skrull War. We're supposed to get this big thing that could lead you to the next thing. But they're like, no, we need I need our scrolls to be our sad, our sad, bug-eyed villains, bug-eyed aliens, so we can worry about them. Like, no, we caught in between this battle. And 2 seconds in there, we had a Kree. Well, she's not fully Kree, but Captain Marvel fighting Skrulls. Like, that's our movie, and they're like, nope, our movie is us trying to take these Skrulls from another planet to another planet. It's like, oh, we just destroyed their planet in the Marvels, and we had the Kree do it. Well, you can't get your Kree Skrull War because the whole point of it is you have these two dead end aliens, and we got humankind teaching them, showing them that they're the dead end. Like, that's the whole thing. And the Avengers are stuck in the balance. If that's not your blockbuster movie, I don't know what else is. But they're like, no, why would we do that? We need we need to do something else. But ultimately, if you're going to decide to do this, and you have all these other Spider-Man characters, I don't know. I think you can have fun with a Kraven character if he was more, a cheat and the guy who's setting people up, and you don't know that he's setting you up, and ultimately you end up dead and kill him. But this guy is very skilled at what he's doing, and he's got the Rambo knife or Rambo claw to do it. So, it still looks interesting, but it's not the Kraven of the comic books. Any last words?
Nah.
Spinnerack.
Hey, we're out.
We're in doubt and we're out.
Exactly.